Welcome back for another book review. Today we are talking about this one. So this is Tarot for Real Life. Use the cards to find answers to everyday questions by Jack, and last names I have absolutely no idea. So this book goes over the basics of tarot. There are sections for each of the suits, which I thought was really interesting, and there's about 3 chapters per section, and they kind of are related to like how to use tarot in a specific way that is related to the suit. For instance, like you've got one specifically for like dealing with emotions and stuff with water, and therefore with cups, and like more analytical things with like fire for this one, and with swords it's going to be the mind, and you know, it's a little different than how I normally do the elements, but goes traditional tarot, so whatever. But I thought that was really interesting, and it goes through like they're kind of themed around the suit, and then once you get to the last chapter of the section, it goes through the first 10 cards of that suit. So you have the ace through 10, and then you have another section that'll go through the court cards, and then another one, and the last one, which is usually not what happens, but I found it kind of interesting that it ends to the beginning, ends with the major. I would give this a 4 out of 5 star. Honestly, this is a really good reference guide if you are learning about tarot cards. Like, is it the be-all end-all? No. But I feel like his interpretation for the cards is really interesting, and the way he tells you to start working with them is really good. It's one that I'm definitely going to go buy at some point because the notes are really good, and he talks about how to phrase your questions in different spreads. Like, he goes through a lot of details that if you're beginning to learn how to read tarot, this is definitely a great resource to have. And of course, with that in mind, if you are a beginner to the tarot, if you're just starting to learn, this is definitely a really good resource. If you're more intermediate to advanced, you might not get a whole lot out of it, but maybe sometimes a different perspective is good to have, but it's definitely more towards beginners. The only thing I didn't really like about this book is the fact that it didn't have a bibliography. And I know that it's like not the biggest of deals, and it did have a conclusion, which I'm grateful for, but also I would like to know where you got your information, especially for witchcraft books. Tell me where you found it, and it didn't have that at all. So that was the only thing that kept this from being a 5 out of 5, because I would like to know where you've gotten your research from, because there's no way you just like intuited all of that. You know, like you got it from somewhere. Tell me where. So anyways, pretty quick and easy video today. Again, these books, I don't know that I would necessarily recommend reading it cover to cover. If tarot is like a special interest of yours, you'll be fine. But these books are a little rough to read cover to cover, to be honest. It gets a little monotonous when you're reading through each of the cards. It gets a little old. Like, you might want to take a breather. If you're like a slower reader, that's totally fine. Take some time with this book. It might not be as bad. But for me, who reads a book a day, these get pretty monotonous when you're like, go, it's fine. But also he tells a story a little bit as you're going through like the minor cards. Like, it kind of tells a story for each one. And when I was starting to try and learn the tarot on the channel here, like, I was getting that same vibe of like, it feels like it's like leading this story, and he talks about that, and I really appreciated it. So like, it's a good book. It's a great resource. Like, when I'm wanting to dive more into the tarot when I have some time, it's definitely a book that I plan to buy and use. But is it like the be-all end-all book? Probably not, but like, it is a pretty good one, all things considered. So anyways, I would love to know your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. As always, a huge thank you to my patrons. If you want to support me and get access to exclusive content, it is patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.